hadn't been so stubborn, they'd have gotten together a whole lot sooner. Turned out there was a reason Kelsey didn't know who she was, though. Her backstory was pretty rough to discover. She's an alpha she-wolf. For thousands of years, alpha she-wolves had been thought too dangerous to live. Death sentences were placed on them at very young ages when their powers first surfaced. In Kelsey's case, that had been age 4. She had been a triplet, and when her sisters were killed, their individual powers all transferred to Kelsey. I didn't really understand how all that worked, but her parents had smuggled her out before she was killed and kept her hidden away until they were killed when she was 12 years old. They never told her what she was. It had been difficult for her to find out everything, but also a relief to no longer be alone. Wolves by nature don't do well in solidarity, though sometimes it would be nice to have some alone time. Having 4 siblings, even with all of us grown, means there never seems to be a dull moment or time alone. Kelsey, we now knew, was from the Bulgarian pack, and their alpha broke all truces among the packs to get her back and finish what had been started when she was 4 years old. That didn't go over so well with Westin. Kyle and Kelsey had already mated by the time her past came to light. The first of several battles had left my dad near death. Mom, too, as they are fully bonded. Fully bonded mates share a strong connection that, once severed, destroys them both. If one mate dies, the other does too. My phone beeped with a reminder. My nephew, Xander, was turning 1, and the family was celebrating at Mom's Tuesday night family dinner. I still had to run out and pick up a gift for the little guy. I glanced at the time on my phone. 1:30. I had worked through lunch again, a bad habit I'd gotten into while trying to just keep things in order. There was always some sort of emergency or some fire to put out in the office. It was never-ending and often overwhelmed me. If someone had told me a year ago that I'd be flying solo in the CEO position, I'd have laughed in their face. Kyle had been trying to transfer the position over to me before his baby was born, and Dad had recovered enough to try to step in to help. I loved them, but they were both control freaks who weren't ready to let go of the reins. Even after Kyle finally stepped back, consumed with his new alpha duties, I still had Dad hovering around. Dad's injuries in the first battle with the Bulgarians had been extensive. Kelsey's extra powers, one of which was healing, had saved him, but the ordeal had weakened him to the point that pack power had transferred to Kyle, and without a fight to the death, there was no getting it back. Dad would never fight Kyle for a position he would have eventually held anyway, so that left Dad plenty of time to groom me for the duties of a Westin Foundation CEO. It had been a very trying time for both of us, but once Xander was born, he and Mom had been so consumed by love and grandparent duties that he had slowly eased up on me and channeled all that focus onto Z. Sorry, little man. Someday I was going to owe that kid big time for it. I pushed the intercom button on my phone. Chris, what's on my schedule for this afternoon? Nothing, sir. You had asked last week to clear today for Xander's celebration. Thanks, I replied, grateful for the break. Chris, or Christine Canine, was my administrative assistant. I hadn't wanted her to be at first, but she had turned out to be a damn good one. I couldn't function day to day without her. Not that I'd ever admit that to her. Chris and Kyle had been close friends growing up, so I had known her forever. When they had turned 18 and discovered they were not true mates, she had changed into someone I couldn't stand. Heck, most people couldn't. When Kyle mated Kelsey, they had to face what we called the challenges. It's a predetermined period during which any wolf can challenge either mate for pack position. It's used often to advance one's place in the pack, and as future alpha, with the pack mother role on the line, Christine had jumped at the chance to battle Kelsey. She had lost, but while the challenges were usually a fight to the death, Kelsey had chosen to spare her at the last minute. The gesture had humbled Chris, and although she could still be a bit high-strung overall, we'd found an easy routine and worked well together. Grabbing my keys off my desk, I headed for the door. I'll be out the rest of the afternoon. Call myself if there's any emergencies. I'm going to head down the mountain to see about a present for the little man. Sure thing, boss. When I saw him last week at the park, he was...